Alright, we like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawashi.
double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who rule well, and honors and blessings to the elect of Israel. Alright, you brothers out there teaching this word in truth and sincerity. Okay, the name of this lesson is going to be entitled Mexicans are the tribe of Issachar. And basically, you know, what we're doing this lesson, a brother had asked us to go into it, to go into the prophecy dealing with the so-called Mexicans being the tribe of Issachar, you know, because we do videos on Northern Kingdom. So, you know, basically, you know, this is for that brother and also other brothers that, you know, want to know the story of the tribe of Issachar, you know, and how it's the so-called Mexicans today. That's really who you are according to the Bible. You're of the tribe of Issachar, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay, so basically what we're doing, we're going to go into the history and the scriptures in the book of Genesis, proving you're the tribe of Issachar, you know, what your name means, and basically what will happen to you in these last days, proving that that's you in the Bible, because it can't be talking about anyone else. You know, it doesn't match anyone else. You know, so for you people that basically scoff on our videos, you know, you scoffed on the one video that we did dealing with you know, more proof that Mexicans are Israelites. You know, a lot of dudes scoffed, man, on that video, and you want all the tribes to be black. But this prophecy, or these prophecies, aren't talking about anyone else, man. You know, as far as the tribe of Issachar, like, that's the so-called Mexicans all day, man. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, really, it's the curses, and you hate them. You know what I'm saying? That's what it boiled down to. You hate the so-called Mexicans, but we in the last days, man. I mean, if you're not with this truth, if you're not coming together and uniting, you know, according to the scriptures, coming together in the name of Yahawashi, you know, you coming together with other tribes, then basically the Lord is gonna cast you out, man.
You're not fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, you're not fulfilling prophecy.
Because in the book of Ezekiel, the Most High talked about taking those two sticks and making them one.
Yep.
But you're still trying to separate it, so you're basically fighting against the Most High. Just because in your mind you can't fathom that this particular group of people cannot be considered your brothers, or cannot be considered the children of the Most High.
Yep. Just like Yahawashi said, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. You scattereth and you scatter and abroad. You know, so the Lord gonna deal with you guys. But anyway, we're just gonna get right to it. Alright, so we're gonna go to Genesis 30 and 18.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 18. And Leah said, the Most High hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband, and she called his name Issachar.
Right. Because when you read the story, basically Leah had gave her mandrakes, her flowers, to Rachel, so Leah can be with Jacob for that night. You know, and basically the result of that was Leah getting pregnant with Issachar. But basically his name was a nomen omen, or a name prediction. It was based off of what happened. You know, how God gave her hire, you know,
right?
Because she hired. I mean, she basically paid to sleep with Jacob. Yep. She paid Rachel, you know, with the flowers. Yeah, yep. She paid Rachel with those mandrakes to sleep with Jacob. You know, so God have given her hire, but you know, but the name Issachar, it means he is hired. Yashakar, he is hired. So you so-called Mexicans, we saying it's so-called because it's not who you are. All right, you're really the tribe of Issachar, and Issachar, it comes from the Hebrew Yashakar, which means he is hired. All right.
If I could say this too, even with this guy Donald Trump, the so-called presidential potential candidate, he's basically put in there to stir up chaos and confusion. Because even with his statement about talking about that the Mexicans are criminals, they're rapists, they're this, that, and the third, that's not the case. Because the scriptures talk about that these people are hired, pretty much hired servants. The name of Issachar means he is hired.
Right.
They're laborers, they're workers, they're hard workers, man. And for them to be talked down upon, looked at as nothing, it's the same as they do with the so-called Negro here in America, man.
Right.
Which further proves that we are the Most High's people. Because what heritage and what lifestyle did you have before your so-called American lifestyle? What heritage did you have before you so-called, bam, you repopulated the what we know today as Mexico?
Right.
What about before then? Nobody has any answers for that. All right. So it's our time to wake up out of sleep. It's not the time of the division amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. The Most High is all about division, because even back in the beginning, he said he divided the nations.
Yeah. And
then later on, when yahawashi comes in the New Testament, it talks about how he's going to separate the sheep from the goat. So the Most High is all about division, but the elect of the Most High is going to hear this message. They're going to realize it, and it's going to trigger something within them, because the Most High is going to open your spirit. It's going to open your mind up.
Yeah.
That's what we do. The
elect are going to come together. You know, basically, when it comes down to the two sticks being joined together in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, it starts with the elect of the nation of Israel. You know, we had a 12 tribe sign, you know, which consists of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, but it's about the elect of the 12 tribes coming together. We know all Israel are not going to hear this message. They're not all going to come into this truth. All right? We get Genesis 49 and 14.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 14. It says, Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens.
Right. So it's giving you the characteristic of the tribe of Issachar. It says he's a strong ass, meaning he's a hard worker. All right. Because one of the symbols of Mexico even is a donkey, and a donkey is a workhorse, and donkey that's one of the symbols of Mexico. You know, even you had one brother from DTA, he broke it down. Well, you have the burrito, which is one of one of the popular foods that so-called Mexicans eat. But basically, you have the burro, which is a donkey, which is basically one of the national symbols of Mexico. You know, so why is that? Because you know it's all linking to this prophecy, letting you know who the tribe of Issachar is. You know, you can link certain animals and just certain things about people back to the scriptures. It told you who he is. He's a strong ass, meaning he's a hard worker, couching down between two burdens, and basically it's giving you the geographical location of where he would be in the last days. Well, can you read verse 1 for me out?
49 and 1.
49 and 1.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Right. So we're reading about the tribe of Issachar. This is what would happen to him in the last days. This isn't talking about how, you know, when Issachar was in the land of Israel. Right. It's talking about Issachar in this time. But we're living prophecy, man. We're living things out that's written in this book. Mm-hmm. All of us. You know, and we're reading about the tribe of Issachar, man. It's no coincidence. The brother was talking about Donald Trump, that he's making the Mexicans out to be such a big deal. Why is that? It's linking back to this prophecy, man. You know, and you so-called Negroes get mad, just like you niggas that don't believe that the tribe of Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans, are one of the 12 tribes of Israel. You don't want to accept them as being Israelites. But basically, like we were saying, that goes back to the curses. You know, people speak about them taking all the jobs. But it says he's a strong ass. I mean, he's a hard worker. He can't help that, you know, he works hard, and basically, you know, they come over here to work. Right. I mean, they're not getting work in Mexico, man. Right. They come here to work just like you working. And
they send their money back home. Like right now, $1 US is worth 15 pesos over there. So they winning extra hard, man. And if you ever look at Issachar on a construction site or doing a roofing gig, man, mm-hmm. Those guys, man, those guys work, man. They work hard in Judah, man.
Yeah.
And Judah built up this so-called America, man. Those guys have Converse on, long sleeve shirts, and a sombrero
Yeah.
on top of a roof, singing songs and telling jokes, man, without falling.
Putting together a damn frame of a house or making the foundation. They doing all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I watched them do that the other day. I was on a job across the street. Issachar up there putting those beams together, man. 2 men. You got one down below, sliding the board up top. You got one bring the beam in, level it out, and then you got the other one. He's shooting the nails into it, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, and I was in where the Edomites lived at.
Yeah.
So you know those houses were 2-story houses. Issachar up there 30, 40, 50 feet in the air, man.
So who is this talking about, man? It ain't talking about Judah, but Judah, all the tribes. You say the so-called Negroes, all the tribes black. You out your damn mind,
It
man.
doesn't make any sense, man.
Nah.
The Most High gave us diversity.
Yep.
The Most High loves diversity.
Yep.
When you go underneath the water, Esau is still finding things that have never been so-called discovered. When you dig between the earth, you're finding different things, different creatures.
Kind.
When you live upon land, you're noticing different things, different diversities. When you go into the air, into the skies, you see different things. So why would the 12 tribes of Israel all be this?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all, man. We don't even like that.
Yeah.
If we could change our woman from day to day, she would be a different woman.
Yeah.
If not every day, every other day, man.
You like variety. You like
variety, man. So stop trying to put the Most High in the box and say, nah, the Most High is like this. The 12 tribes of Israel, his chosen people, are all black people. Who the fuck is a black person anyway, man?
Right, right.
They're all dead people, man.
Yeah.
A black person is a dead person. All right? Because black is always symbolized with something bad, something negative, something dead, man.
Yep.
The Most High's life, his elected's life, man.
Yep.
And the Most High's elect consists of 12 tribes, 12 different tribes of people, man.
Kind.
12 different nations.
Kind.
Well, one nation, but 12 different tribes amongst the nations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right though. I mean, it's a scripture. We don't got to get it, but it speaks about Israel, how we're a nation and a company of nations. So like one tribe is like a nation within itself, man.
Right.
You know, you get into it, but basically, just like the brother Malcolm in Chicago said, man, how boring is a garden of roses, man, or a garden of apples. It's about diversity. Like
he made them diverse.
Oh, yeah.
You got the red roses, you got the pink roses, you got the violet roses, man. Oh man, get out of here, man. Even Esau made different versions of a light bulb.
Yeah.
He made light bulbs different colors. He didn't make one just specifically the color of the sun. He didn't make one specifically just light or fluorescent or clear. He has different colors. It's just human structure, man. It's just natural. So for you guys that can't get it, it's plain and clear that the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahawashi is not dealing with you, man. And we're so-called Negroes, man. And if we're speaking up and telling the truth according to the scriptures, because this is not in our own heart.
Right.
We live in Mississippi, and Mississippi is a state that's really segregated, I believe, far more than any other. Because you got the Edomites, the so-called white people that do their thing. It's a lot of Ishkarites here, the Mexicans, they do their own thing, and then you got Jake, the so-called Negro, that do their own thing. So everybody's kind of scattered, you know what I'm saying, not intermingled together.
Right.
But if we're speaking the truth according to the scriptures about how these people, this nation, are our brothers, man, and then you want to fight against that, I mean, the Most High's not dealing with you, because we don't receive any gain from doing it.
Right.
Whether we do it or whether we don't do it, it doesn't benefit us. But it's the truth according to the scriptures. The Most High set us up to do that.
Yep.
Point blank, you know what I'm saying? Point blank, period.
And we acknowledge it as the truth. We see it. We can't deny it. Like, man, that's what it say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the truth is the truth, man. And you can do nothing against the truth before the truth. At the end of the day, if you're not rolling with this setup or this program, the Most High God, you're going to get ran over, man. Because you can't stop it. All right? Then we go back to Genesis 49 and 14.
All right. Genesis chapter 49, verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens.
Right, which means, like we explained, Issachar, his name means he is hired. He is hired because he's and it says that how he's a strong ass, meaning like a strong donkey or which is a workhorse. So he is hired because he's a hard worker. All right, and that's why you see a lot of Issachar getting all these different jobs, even jobs that people don't want, man. You know, and it says couching down between two burdens, which is two portions of land, which is North America and Central America. All right, and which below that you have South America, but you have Mexico, which is in between, man. So those two burdens are representing two portions of land.
Yeah, those two land masses.
Two land masses, kind. All right, go ahead up.
Verse 15. And he saw that rest, Slakia. And he saw that rest was good,
which is the land of Mexico. Even when all the tribes came over here to the Americas, they all got their different portions of land. You know, all right. But basically, the tribe of Issachar, they like that particular land, man, and that's why they got the land of Mexico. Okay, go ahead, Doc.
And the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute.
Right. Well, it says they saw that rest was good, and the land was pleasant. So Issachar, they were living pretty good in the Americas for a while, in the land of Mexico. You know, and originally when you read in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, all right, for you brothers that know it, and even for you brothers that don't know it, you can read it. But you read 2nd Ezra 13 and starting at verse 40, you read down. It talks about how the different tribes, the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes came to the Americas. All right, they came over here to keep the laws that they didn't keep in the land of Israel. They came over to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and to serve the Most High, Yahweh. But we all know the pattern of Israel according to the scriptures. They started doing right at first, but eventually they started going off. The different generations after them, they would lose it. And the different generations would get worse. So basically what they call pre-Columbian times, like before Columbus and the Spaniards arrived. You had the different empires in the Americas, but in particular dealing with the land of Mexico. You would have the Toltecs, you had the Mayans, and you had the Aztecs. All right, but mainly dealing with the Aztecs. So they had that empire set up. So that they were still resting for a while. They had their different empires among themselves. But what happened is the Spaniards arrived, and it says he bowed his shoulder to bear, which means he got put into subjection. They got conquered, and that's dealing with when the Spaniards arrived. All right, can you read some more?
Okay. Verse 15. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant,
right,
and bowed his shoulder to bear it, and became a servant of the tribute.
If you bearing something, I mean you're bearing a burden. All right, a burden is heavy. What's that? That's them being put in slavery, man. That's them bringing back mineral resources like gold, like jade, even their own women. Them bringing that to the Spaniards, man, which is lost history because it's not talked about. But that happened. All right, that happened, and you even have a lot of so-called Mexicans today. A lot of them don't even know that, and they'll look at the so-called Negroes. They'll look at the tribe of Judah. Oh, these are slaves. Y'all went into slavery too, and you got to put into slavery first because they enslaved you, and then what happened is they killed so many natives. You wish you're the tribe of Issachar. You're not Indians, but they killed so many of you that basically they had to replace you. So they would bring slaves from the west coast of Africa. They'll bring Judah here in slavery. And then that's where you get the prophecy in Jeremiah, how it speaks about the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Right. Because we was working in the same damn cotton fields together, man.
We were just the latest and the greatest. So we were, the most recent, fresh on people's mind, the most common. So that's what everybody talks about. They talk about the so-called Negro picking cotton, the so-called
right,
Negro being in slavery.
Right.
Because people have a short attention span. They can't think past certain particular points in history or in life.
Yeah, but you gotta take that pill, man. That pill of truth. It happened. All right. Your ancestors were enslaved. All right, and that's why you speak Spanish today.
Right.
That's why you speak Spanish. That's why a lot of your skins is lighter. All right. That's why a lot of your women want to marry white men, so-called white men. This is why you hate the so-called Negroes. Why? Because it goes back when you was put in slavery, man. Okay? But anyway, so the point is it says how you bowed your shoulder to bear, which that's referring to when you got put in slavery by the Spaniard conquistadors, and you became a servant to tribute. A servant is a slave. Tribute, you're in slavery. You're paying taxes. All right, you became a tributary. I want to say it's called. All right, and we have the information to prove it. Go ahead, Doc.
This is the word conquistador from the Wikipedia Free Encyclopedia. It says conquistadors, from Spanish conquistadores, were soldiers, explorers, and adventurers at the service of the Spanish Empire and Portuguese Empire.
Yep.
The name derived from the Reconquista, the reconquest of the territory of the Iberian Peninsula that had been controlled by various Muslim states, known through much of that time as Al-Andalus. They sailed beyond Europe, conquering territory and opening trade routes. They colonized much of the world for Spain and Portugal in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries.
Right. It says how they colonized Mexico. All right. But basically, they were telling you where the name derived from, but they weren't Muslims. They came here in the name of Roman Catholicism, and they was pushing that on you. All right. That white picture, that white image of Christ. All right, well, that's not his name, by the way, and he's not a so-called white man. They were pushing that image on you, and if you didn't accept that image, they would kill you. They would kill you. They would kill your family. You would have raids, but they would wait till when you were sleeping.